Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for stopping by the channel. So for this video, I'm going to give you a full review of my Damasko DA47, which to me is a quintessential German Flieger style watch and makes a great everyday tool watch. Now I featured a few Damaskos on my channel in the past. What makes this one distinctly different from those is that creamy white dial is actually fully luminous. But aside from that, you have your standard Damasko design language, including this beautiful, almost titanium-like ice-hardened case. It's actually stainless steel that's nickel-free, and it's extremely scratch and corrosion resistant. On the dial, you have that Damasko crosshair pattern, and then for their day and date display models, you do have the day and date aperture just below the 3, and then just above it you'll have a Damasko symbol and printing there. And then they will say proudly made in Germany near the 6 o'clock position. Just the overall design, durability, and high contrast legibility of this watch with that black Arabic numerals and blacked out handset just make this watch extremely legible, and you can wear this and it can definitely take a beating on a day-to-day basis. Now, as far as overall case dimensions go, you're looking at about 40 millimeters across the case, but if you do grab from the edges of the bezel here, it's more like 41. And you can just see just how well gnarled the teeth for this bezel is, and it does protrude away from the case ever so slightly, but that does help with grip. Now, flipping to the side, from lug to lug between my thumbs here is 48 millimeters. Case height is 12.5 millimeters to a flat sapphire crystal that has an extremely well done anti-reflective coating on the top and underside of a crystal. And you can actually see that the way I'm holding it. Different angles, it's really even hard to see the crystal. It almost looks like it disappears. And then lug gap here for leather strap or rubber options is 20 millimeters. Now if we discuss the dial in just a little more detail, I mean, again, you do have extremely high contrast Arabic numerals, with the exception of a 12 o'clock being a triangle in typical German Flieger fashion. The hand stack itself are broad sword style hands, and they are painted black, and you do have the no nonsense cutout for the day and date complication, which is a great feature to have on a watch in my opinion. And again, it's extremely legible with a white date disc, but you do have contrast back printing. So outboard of a dial, you do have this fantastic bezel that you can see the sides are ice hardened the same way the case is. The bezel insert itself has also been hardened. It's using what they call a Damask coating. And then as far as bezel action goes, this bezel actually has ceramic ball bearings for a 60-click bidirectional action, which just thuds into place. And the bezel action itself is quite stiff for the bidirectional actions, but the tactile feedback is off the charts. You definitely feel when you just move from one click into the next, and then it just drops into place with no play whatsoever. So fantastic bezel action and alignment. And again, very high contrast because you do have white printing and graduations from 0 to 60 on the bezel insert itself. Now let's talk about the standout feature of this watch, and that is the fully luminous dial. I'm going to throw up a low light shot now, and you'll see this thing light up like a flashlight. Damasko did an extremely good job of evenly applying white C1 luminova to the entire surface of a dial, and again with that blacked out hand stack, and it's kind of neat, you can see the blacked out day and date window as well when you're looking in low light conditions. But getting a read on the time is no issue whatsoever, and this probably rivals any other diver that I have with respects to the potency and long-lasting duration of LUME. So powering this watch is an ETA 2836-2 in a laboratory grade, and Damasko does a very good job of regulating this Although if I'm being honest, this is picking up about plus 9 seconds a day, and that's the most I've seen pick up on any Damasko model, but I think it'll settle in over time. That's usually just when I have it sitting dial up in its watch box. Specifically with these ETA movements, you get about a 38-hour power reserve, you get a very nice beat rate at 28,800 vibrations per hour for that nice sweep on the seconds hand there. You know, you can hack and manually wind this movement. So in order to do that, you have to unscrew the screw down crown, popping it out one click. That's your quick day and date set function. So you can see that the date changes extremely quickly. And then for the day, you switch between English and German, which makes sense given their German heritage. And then if you pull all the way out, you can hack the movement, and you can quickly set this to any reference time that you like. Now I will note, screwing back in the crown, Damasko does have a number of patents, and one of them is a self-lubricating cell on the crown stem. So winding this and rethreading it is extremely easy to do, and you're always going to have a nice wind action, and the seals should stay in very good condition for a very long time to come. Now flipping to the side, you can see that there's a D for Damasko logo on the crown, and they do have some crown guards. And as far as finishing goes, it's purely like a bead blasted finish all across the case, and that is because of their ice hardening process. I do love the integration of drilled lugs, so it is very quick and easy to swap out the strap for different options. I'm actually wearing this on a vulcanized rubber strap from Strap Mill Canada, and that's because we're in the dead of summer now, and I didn't want to use the leather strap that was supplied from Damasko. That being said, I do want to hold up the supplied leather strap because it's actually done to a very high standard. You can see very nice contrast white stitching on the leather itself. The leather is very supple, and then for the buckle, they even have this leather flap here, and that prevents the metal from aggressing against your wrist. So comfort on this is very good. And I do want to mention the buckle itself is ice hardened steel, just like the head of the watch. So Damasko didn't cheap out even when they designed their strap and buckle. Flipping this watch over, you can see that the case back is screwed down, and it's finished with that same bead blasted finish as the rest of the head of the watch. In traditional Damasko fashion as well, they just list all the technical information in German, and I apologize that my German isn't very good at all, but what it's essentially saying is that you do have the ice hardened case, which is scratch resistant. This watch is highly anti-magnetic, water resistant down to 100 meters, and it's made in Germany. So here's a quick wrist shot of a Damasko DA47 on my 19 centimeter circumference wrist, or about 7.5 inches. And as you can see, wears extremely comfortable, and I love it on this vulcanized rubber strap. In this specific configuration, watch weight comes in at 90 grams, so it's quite lightweight, but the head of the watch itself feels extremely secure, and I just love the overall legibility and durability that comes with this timepiece. So before I summarize the video, are there any points that Damasko could potentially improve on? I mean, for me, I really can't say anything that negative about the watch. Overall, it's just a good go-to everyday watch for me personally. I will point out, some people aren't a fan of having an anti-reflective treatment on the top side of the crystal, and it does smudge up easily if you just put your thumb on the crystal itself. I mean, still, the legibility is going to be great, so that's not too much of a deal breaker. And then I guess for me, I do wish that Damasko just made it a little more affordable to order this watch on its in-house made bracelet, which is also ice hardened. But usually you have to buy that aftermarket, and it's around $800 I believe, which is, you know, more than 50% of what you're going to pay for this watch, which typically retails around $1,400. But of course you can find this watch for a little less on the gray market. Now as far as competition goes, you know, I think its main competitor is Zinn watches, like a Zinn 104, very similar in layout, and you can get it on an H-Link bracelet. And in fact, I plan to do a video where I compare those two watches head to head. So if you want to see that, please subscribe to my channel and stay updated on future content. I'm finding myself more and more gravitating towards German-made timepieces for that between $1,000 and $2,000 price range. You're just getting insane value for money. But guys, I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments below. What's your thought on Damasko? Thanks for sticking around to the end. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video.